Welcome back to Valuable Coins HD Coin Collectors. Today, we've got something exciting to talk about, a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or even in your change right now, the 1980 Roosevelt Dime. While many might look at it and dismiss it as just another dime, I'm here to tell you that this coin could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a casual coin enthusiast, stick around because you're about to discover why this simple dime could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The Roosevelt Dime, first issued in 1946, has been a staple of American currency for decades. It features the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, designed by artist John Sinek. The reverse side showcases a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, values that are deeply tied to American ideals. But while this coin has been in circulation for so long, the 1980 version stands out for reasons you may not expect. Now, you might be wondering, why is the 1980 Roosevelt Dime so special, especially considering the U.S. Mint produced millions of them that year? The answer lies in the condition of the coin, as well as minting errors that could make this dime far more valuable than its face value of 10 cents. First off, let's talk about the composition of the 1980 dime. By this time, the U.S. Mint had transitioned away from using silver for dimes, opting instead for a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change was made due to the rising cost of silver, and it gave the dimes a different look and feel. While these dimes were produced in large quantities, many of them circulated heavily, meaning that most of the 1980 dimes you'll find today are in worn or damaged condition. However, coins that have been carefully preserved in uncirculated or near-mint condition are rare, and they are worth much more to collectors. So, what exactly makes the 1980 Roosevelt Dime a potential goldmine for collectors? The key factor here is the possibility of minting errors. These errors are highly sought after by coin enthusiasts because they make a coin unique, and in some cases, incredibly valuable. One of the most significant errors to look out for in the 1980 Roosevelt Dime is the double die error. This happens when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once, leading to the design being imprinted multiple times. The result is a noticeable doubling of the design, usually on the date and inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you come across a 1980 dime with clear double die doubling, you could be holding a highly valuable piece. The more pronounced the doubling, the higher the value. Collectors absolutely go crazy for these error coins, as they are considered rare and highly collectible. Another potential error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, and part of the design is cut off or shifted. Off-center coins can vary in how much of the design is missing, and the more extreme the error, the more valuable the coin can become. An off-center 1980 dime is a unique find that could command a hefty price, especially if the misalignment is severe enough to make the coin visually striking. In addition to double dies and off-center strikes, there are other minting errors that could add value to a 1980 Roosevelt dime. Clash die errors happen when the dies used to strike the coin clash together without a planchet between them, leaving impressions of the opposite side's design on the coin. While clash dies are less common, they can still add a lot of value to a coin, making it more desirable to collectors who specialize in error coins. So, how much could a 1980 Roosevelt dime with these rare characteristics be worth? Here's the exciting part: if you have an uncirculated 1980 dime or one with a minting error like a double die, off-center strike, or clash die, it could be worth a lot more than just 10 cents. In fact, a well-preserved dime or one with significant errors could fetch an impressive $37,000, yes, you heard that right, $37,000 for a single 1980 Roosevelt dime. That's a massive return on such a small, seemingly ordinary coin. Of course, the value depends on the condition of the coin and the type of error it has, but in the world of rare coins, this is the kind of find that can turn any collector's dreams into reality. So, the next time you're going through your change or sorting through your coin collection, take a closer look at any 1980 Roosevelt dimes you come across. Check for signs of minting errors, examine the condition, and remember that a little bit of wear and tear can sometimes turn a dime into a fortune. Today, in this video, we're diving into a coin that might be hiding in your collection right now, the 1984 Roosevelt Dime. It's easy to overlook this seemingly small, everyday coin, but hold on, because this dime could be worth far more than you expect. Stay tuned as we explore why this coin is a hidden gem and what makes it valuable to collectors. At first glance, the 1984 Roosevelt Dime might look like just another regular coin that you've seen 1,000 times before. After all, this coin features the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John Sinek. The reverse side, with the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, has remained a staple of the Roosevelt dime design since it was first introduced in 1946. But as with most things in the world of numismatics, there's more to this dime than meets the eye. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1984 Roosevelt dime particularly special. The first thing to understand is that while millions of these dimes were minted, what truly adds value to any coin is its condition and any potential errors that may have occurred during the minting process. And that's where the 1984 Roosevelt dime can stand out from the rest. The minting process isn't always perfect. Sometimes, errors happen, and these errors can transform an ordinary coin into a highly sought-after treasure. In the case of the 1984 Roosevelt dime, there are a few key errors that can make this coin incredibly valuable, especially to serious collectors. One of the most common errors that can boost the value of a 1984 Roosevelt dime is the double die error. This occurs when the coin die strikes the coin multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled. When this happens, you'll typically notice the doubling on the date, the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," and sometimes even parts of the portrait itself. Double die coins are a big deal in the world of numismatics because they are rare and they make the coin visually unique. The more pronounced the doubling, the more desirable the coin becomes. So, if you happen to find a 1984 Roosevelt dime with noticeable doubling, you could have a major find on your hands, but that's not all. Another potential error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is struck in an incorrect position, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted. The result is a coin that looks misaligned, and this misalignment can vary in severity. Off-center strikes can give a coin a unique and intriguing appearance, and collectors love them for that very reason. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin could be. An off-center 1984 Roosevelt dime with a significant misalignment can be a real showstopper in any collection. In addition to these errors, there are also more subtle imperfections that can increase the value of the 1984 Roosevelt dime, such as die cracks and clashed die errors. Die cracks occur when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, which can leave a raised line or imperfection on the coin's surface. While die cracks are relatively common, when they appear in certain locations on the coin, they can still increase its value to collectors. Clashed die errors, on the other hand, occur when the dies that strike the coin collide with each other, leaving an impression of the reverse design on the obverse or vice versa. These types of errors are rarer, making them more desirable to collectors. So, how much can a 1984 Roosevelt dime be worth if you find one in mint condition or with one of these errors? Here's the exciting part: if you've got a well-preserved example or a coin with a noticeable error, the value could be much higher than you expect. A regular 1984 Roosevelt dime in good condition is worth just 10 cents. But when you add in the rarity of minting errors in excellent condition, the value can skyrocket. In fact, if you find a 1984 Roosevelt dime in near-perfect or uncirculated condition, or one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $39,000, yes, you heard that right, $39,000 for a single dime. The value of these coins depends on the specific error, its severity, and the overall condition, but if you happen to find one with a significant error, it could be a game-changer for your collection. That's a huge return for a coin that was once only worth a single dime. So, take a moment to inspect your 1984 Roosevelt dimes carefully. Look for any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or other minting errors. If you find one of these rarities, you could be holding onto a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Today, we've got a coin that might be hiding in your collection right now, and if you're lucky, it could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Yes, we're talking about the 1987 Roosevelt dime. While it may seem like just another dime at first glance, I'm here to tell you that this little coin might just be your ticket to a rare treasure. Roosevelt dimes are some of the most iconic coins in American history, and the 1987 version is no exception. First introduced in 1946, this coin features the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by artist John Sinek. On the reverse side, you'll find a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. But what makes the 1987 Roosevelt dime stand out is what might be hiding underneath its worn exterior, rare minting errors that could make it worth a small fortune. Let's start by talking about how coins like the 1987 Roosevelt dime can increase in value. Most people think that a dime is worth, well, just 10 cents. However, in the world of numismatics, a coin's value is determined by more than just its face value. The condition of the coin and the presence of any minting errors can have a significant impact on its worth. While the 1987 Roosevelt dime was produced in large numbers by the U.S. Mint, some of these coins were struck with unique characteristics that can make them highly valuable today. These coins are often considered rare and desirable by collectors, so if you happen to find one with certain minting errors, you could be in for quite the surprise. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1987 Roosevelt dime is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin gets misaligned, resulting in a double impression of the design on the coin. The most common places you'll see the doubling are on the date, the inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," or even parts of Roosevelt's portrait. The more prominent the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1987 Roosevelt dime with significant doubling can easily become a showpiece in any collection, making it highly desirable for collectors, but that's not all. There's another error that could make your 1987 Roosevelt dime worth a lot more than its 10-cent value: the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is improperly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that is partially missing or shifted off-center. The more extreme the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. If you find a 1987 Roosevelt dime with a noticeable off-center strike, you've got yourself a unique and collectible piece that could fetch a pretty penny. Another potential error to watch out for is the clash die error. This happens when the dies used to strike the coin collide with each other without a blank planchet between them. As a result, you may see impressions from the reverse side of the coin on the obverse, or vice versa. These types of errors are relatively rare and can make a coin look truly one of a kind. Collectors love clash die errors, and they often increase a coin's value significantly. Now, you might be wondering, how much can a 1987 Roosevelt dime with these errors be worth? Well, let's get to the exciting part. If you have a 1987 dime in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, or if you're lucky enough to have found one with a rare minting error, then you could be looking at a coin worth far more than just 10 cents. In fact, some 1987 Roosevelt dimes with significant errors or in excellent condition have been known to sell for as much as $42,000. That's right, $42,000 for a single dime. Can you imagine finding a coin worth that much tucked away in your collection or hiding in your change jar? Of course, the value depends on the condition of the coin and the type of error it has, but if you've got a 1987 Roosevelt dime with an error like a double die, off-center strike, or clashed die, it could be worth a small fortune. So, if you've got a 1987 Roosevelt dime sitting around, it's time to pull it out and take a closer look. Examine the date, check for doubling, look for any misalignment, and see if there's any sign of a clashed die. If you spot something unusual, you could be holding onto a rare piece of American numismatic history. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date on all the latest rare coin discoveries, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. You never know, your next coin hunt could lead you to a hidden treasure worth thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.